Hi Kush, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Vaishnavi.
Yeah. So, welcome to Adgully Showbiz. So, let's start with you have assisted Sanjay Leela Bhansali and studied film in the New York. How did this contrast experience shape your voice as a filmmaker?
Uh, Good question, but I would say at least working environments here were very different then. At least when I was studying
Yeah.
film in New York, uh, I think they're very particular about timelines and schedules and all of that. At that point, at least when I was assisting, I think we had to be much more flexible here. So I realized that the rules don't apply the same way in different countries and different environments. And I would always say to anybody who's planning to go study film, I would say assist first, work on a couple of,
Mm-hmm.
then go and study film. It'll make you a much more prepared filmmaker versus going to film school and then coming and working on a set.
Absolutely. Okay. So, what was it about the story of Nikita Roy and that made you choose it as a debut feature?
Right. I think I just wanted to do something unique. I wanted to mix genre. I also wanted to, have people think. I mean, if you've seen Nikita Roy, there's an element of social commentary in it also. That don't follow people blindly. They can mislead,
Yes.
they can misguide you. So I think a little bit of social commentary, a little bit of supernatural, uh, also lot of emotional drama with regards to Nikita Roy's character. So I just want to bring out something unique and fresh for people to see. And I don't know, a lot of people have told me it's a difficult subject, kyun chuna apne, but in my mind, it was never a difficult subject. It was always an interesting subject.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why.
Okay. Okay. So the film touches on the theme like faith, fear, and morality.
Right.
What inspired you to explore these layered ideas through a supernatural lenses?
I think just the fact that, I knew it would be intriguing for people, like you said, seeing the film through the lens of supernatural incidents happening to a character. I think that's what held people. Like I've watched the film multiple times with audiences also. I mean, they didn't know I was there, but I just went to gauge audience reactions. And, the thing with the film was it held its grip. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't see, I think for after a long time, I think uh, possibly like the majority of the audience was not looking at their phones. They were just glued to the screen. So I think that paid
Screens.
off for us to have this element of supernatural sort of and horror mixed with all these other elements like emotional drama, or even like spirituality and all of that. So yeah, I think that's what people want nowadays, to be honest. Audiences want
Absolutely.
something
Yeah.
new also and engaging. So that's why.
Absolutely. So people taste are getting evolved nowadays more
Right.
into supernatural.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Okay.
And also, I think, Vaishnavi, I think people are watching so much content now. Look, there's
Yes.
always space for classic sort of content also. It's like saying you always want a good meal that you know the taste of. But at the same
Yeah.
time, some people want something new also because they're consuming so much content every day. If you don't give them something new, neither will you be able to stand out and neither will
Yes.
you be able to connect to people as viewers.
Absolutely. Very good point. Yeah. So you have been hands-on in the everything from writing to word building. What part of the process challenged you the most creatively?
I think writing is always challenging because what you write on paper, eventually once it translates to screen, you're very lucky if it comes out even like 80% of what you've written on paper, right? But we got very lucky because all our performers were so good, all our actors, that they managed to even, I would say, exceed what we had written on paper. So I got very lucky there. I think that's an important lesson I've learned. Okay, always work with good talent and, also always work in a collaborative way. That will
Yeah.
actually help your film turn out better. But yes, writing was challenging because we had to rewrite a lot of the film. The
Yeah.
original film, and I've said this also, the original film had many controversial elements, which I didn't
Yeah.
want to put out on screen.
Yes.
So to remove those elements while still maintaining a gripping story, while still maintaining
The
a pace,
storyline.
yeah, that was challenging, but I think we managed to do it.
Okay. So as you said about the good actors, how did you approach directing your sister, Sonakshi Sinha? Did the personal equation help or required boundaries on the set?
I created a clear boundary on the set. She's an experienced actor. She's my
Yes.
sister at home. On the set, she's an experienced actor. She's contributing to my film with her talent. So I was very clear it's going to be professional on set. Also because, again, if I start behaving with her in a personal way on set,
Yeah.
others might take it the wrong way. It will
Yes.
sort of reduce the professionalism of the environment on the set. So I was very clear that I'm going to be professional with all the actors, whether I know them personally from before or not. On set, they're actors. I'm a director, and we are here
Mhm.
to.
Okay, so Paresh Rawal and Arjun Rampal bring a strong screen presence. So,
Right.
how did you work with them to shape the film tension or dynamics?
I think Paresh ji, though, again, very collaborative and obviously such a great actor. There's not much you need to really discuss with him. He just immediately gets it.
Yeah,
Arjun sir had a special appearance in the film. I'm assuming people have seen the film know that by now. But again,
yeah,
Arjun sir, some people had tried to tell me that, it'll be difficult to work with him. You know how people just try to create rumors on set. But again,
yes,
very collaborative, very giving. And, I had no issues working with them. But definitely their presence added a lot to our film. Again, to have such good actors deliver that level of performance, it just makes your film more believable and more real.
absolutely. So, you have said you wanted to connect with audience emotionally. Like, what's the emotional core of the story according to you? What was the?
I think the emotional core of the story is, loss and how to deal with it. If a personal tragedy happens to any one of us, whether it's
Hmm.
with a family member or a loved one or a friend, how do you deal with that loss? And to what ends will you go to sort of resolve that, you know, uh,
Yes.
resolve that incident? I think in the case of Nikita Roy, what she has to deal with is something that many people would give up. But because she's so emotionally driven and she's so stubborn, that's why I like the character. She has so many layers. When you look at her, people are like, is she foolish? Is she stubborn? Is she arrogant? Is she just emotionally broken, vulnerable? There's so many layers to her. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what appealed to me regarding her character, and that's what appealed to me with regards to the film. That emotionally, there's a very strong core to the film.
Yeah. So as we talk about content and the viewership, so sometimes supernatural thrillers can be like fall into a cliche territory.
Right.
How did you make sure Nikita Roy stayed rooted and like predictable?
I think by trying to be innovative, by trying to, by understanding that people have seen a lot of things and what
Yes.
can you do. So sometimes I think when you stay authentic, that's good enough. You don't always have to do something out of the box, but
Yeah.
if you do something that's authentic and grounded, people do appreciate that. I think with horror, it's very easy to go into territory that becomes, become funny. Like, I've seen other people burst out laughing in certain
Yeah.
films, be scared, right? So I think as long as you're authentic and you're grounded, and also I think it's very important to that you have good actors who are able to project fear to the audience, to their performance, and also have good locations, good cinematography. A lot of things, these things added to Nikita Roy, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very clear that I want to avoid, like you said, you don't want to avoid, you want to
Yeah.
avoid that people end up laughing at something that you're
Yeah.
doing serious or scary. So yeah, definitely taking charge of the creative process, working with good technicians. I think that all added to it.
Okay. So how do you see Nikita Roy fitting into today's OTT versus theatrical landscape? And what made you choose the big screen for your debut?
I think the producers also had a say in that. To be honest, I'm not the only one who decides that. I
Okay.
think most films have to go to OTT anyway, theatrical
Yes.
anyways nowadays. I think that's just a part of the process. So I think we had to go to theaters anyways. But they did take a call on the release date and all. I didn't have too much of a say in that, but that's fine. That is the producer's call eventually.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so coming from a filmy family, was there any pressure to prove yourself as a filmmaker, or rather than it was just be the one?
I didn't have that pressure with regards to coming from a film family, but I think in my mind, I'm always grateful and I'm always cognizant of the fact that there are many people who want to do this job, who want to become
Yeah.
film even today, who are still in the industry trying to get their scripts greenlit or make a movie. So I'm very respectful of the fact that I got this opportunity. So for that pressure did drive me to do the best that I can. But it wasn't because of which family I belong to. It was more because I understand the value of this opportunity.
Okay. So lastly, now that your debut is complete, what's the one lesson or insight you are carrying forward to your next project? And would you like to share about your next project that coming up
A
in
couple of
years?
projects, again, very early stages right now. I still have to get out of Nikita Roy. It's
Okay.
just been released and I'm still sort of going through things in my head. So, once I'm a little clearer in my head, I'll be able to focus. But there are a couple of concepts at very early stages, though. So I wouldn't be able to talk too much about them. But again, one's a horror comedy, one is like a sort of about the industry. There is a documentary on my father that I'm also working on. But
Oh
these are
wow.
again, yeah, these are again early stages. But yeah, these are some of the things I'm working on. But yeah, I think I just need to get Nikita Roy out of my headspace first.
Okay, as a director, what one lesson you have learned and you will take it forward?
I think at times you have to be a little stubborn. I'm very open and very collaborative. I like to work with people. But at times, I think sometimes when you know that things might go haywire, I think you have to put your foot down. But again, that's just a normal lesson. I think everybody learns that with time. We did have a delay with Nikita Roy due to certain aspects of the technical process. I did realize later on in hindsight that if I had put my foot down there and said, no, we don't have to work with this particular company, we would have saved a lot of time. But that's okay. You live and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.